The brave airman Rocky landed on his base. He stepped out from jet and took his helmet in his hand and walking towards quarters. A elderly woman named Angela waiting near quarters. Base Rocky saw her smiling face. Rocky said, "Excuse me, ma'am. Are you lost? This area is restricted." Angela laughs softly, "Maybe I am. Or maybe I've finally found where I was meant to be." Rocky raises an eyebrow, "And where's that?" Angela, "Right here. Standing in front of the grandson of a man who once saved my life." Rocky freezes. Rocky says, "I think you have the wrong person." Angela smiles, "No, Captain Rockey Hale. I've been searching for you for nearly 50 years. They sit in a quiet corner. Rocky says, "So, start from the beginning. Who are you?" She said, "My name is Angela Carter. And before I say anything else, you should know, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in purpose." Rocky said, "All right, Angela, tell me why you're here." Angela said, "Because in 1954, a young black pilot named Isaiah Hale, your grandfather, risked his career and his life to deliver medicine and supplies to a war-torn village in West Africa. My village. Without him, I wouldn't be sitting here today." Rocky leans back, stunned. Rocky says, I knew he served, but the records are almost non-existent. He never spoke about it. The military barely accepted it." Angela says, "They erased men like him, Rocky. They flew higher and braver than anyone, yet they were grounded by prejudice. Your grandfather saved hundreds of lives that day, but no one wrote it down." Angela says, "I was just a child, maybe 10. Civil war tore our village apart. There was disease, starvation, chaos. And then one morning, we heard a sound none of us had ever heard before, the sound of wings cutting the sky." Rocky said, "His plane." Angela says, "Yes. It landed in a clearing barely large enough for a truck. People ran, thinking it was an enemy aircraft. But when the door opened, I saw a man step out, tall, confident, wearing that uniform. With pride. And he was black, just like us. I remember how my mother cried when she realized he'd come to help, not to harm." Angela wipes a tear, smiling through it. Angela says, "He stayed for 3 days. Risked everything to fly in more supplies. And when he left, he gave me his pilot's pin. He told me, 'Little one, the sky isn't just for those who are allowed, it's for those who dare.'" Rocky, quietly, "I've heard stories about him, whispers in the family. But I never knew the details. I joined the Air Force to make him proud, but sometimes I wonder if I'll ever live up to that legacy." Angela says, "Legacy isn't about matching the past, Rocky. It's about continuing it. You fly because he flew, not to be him, but to be you." Rocky sighs, "It's not always easy. People still look at me like I don't belong up there. They question my competence, my worth. Sometimes I wonder if they're right." Angela says, "Look at me, Captain. They said the same about your grandfather. They told him a black man couldn't lead, couldn't fly, couldn't represent his country. And yet, he soared above them all. The higher they doubted, the higher he climbed. And so will you." Angela says, "I came here with a favor to ask, one I've waited my whole life to make." Rocky said, "What is it?" Angela says, "Tomorrow, I'm flying to Senegal to visit the site of that mission. I'd like you to take me there. I want the man he saved to see the man he raised, the legacy of the man who gave us hope." Rocky is silent, moved. Rocky said, "I'd be honored." The next day, the cockpit hums. Angela sits beside Rocky in a 2-seater transport plane as clouds drift beneath them. Angela said, "You know, Rocky, I used to fear flying. I thought the sky belonged only to the powerful." Rocky said, "It belongs to anyone brave enough to reach for it." Angela smiles, and said, "Just like your grandfather said." They sit in silence for a moment, watching the horizon stretch endlessly. Rocky said, "Angela, can I ask you something?" Angela, "Of course." Rocky said. Why me? You could have told this story to anyone, historians, journalists. Why find me? Angela said. Because stories like this shouldn't live in books. They should live in hearts. I wanted you to know that your name, your family's name, isn't just about service or medals. It's about saving lives. Inspiring futures. Mine included. They land in a remote field. It's quiet, just grass, wind, and a small stone monument. Angela steps out slowly, cane tapping against the soil. Angela says. Right here. This is where the plane touched down. Over there, that's where your grandfather carried me when I was too weak to walk. Rocky follows her gaze, imagining the scene decades ago. Rocky said. I wish I could have met him. Angela. Smiling gently, you already have, in every flight you take. You carry his spirit with you every time those engines roar. Angela kneels by the monument and places the old pilot's pin on the ground. Angela said. I've kept this for 70 years. But it's not mine anymore. Rocky said. You're sure? Angela says. I'm certain. It belongs with you, and with the sky. They sit on a bench near the monument, watching the sun dip below the horizon. Rocky says. Angela, can I tell you something? Angela. Of course. Rocky said. Before today, I thought flying was just a job. Something I did because I was good at it. But now, I realize it's bigger. It's purpose. It's legacy. And it's a promise, to never let stories like his disappear again. Angela said. That, Rocky, is how we honor the past, not by living in it, but by carrying it forward. A long silence follows, filled with the gentle rustle of wind and distant waves. Rocky said. Thank you, Angela. For finding me. For reminding me who I am. Angela said. No, Captain. Thank you, for proving that wings, once given, never stop soaring. And they back at the base. Weeks later, Rocky stands at a podium during a ceremony. Angela sits proudly in the front row. The crowd listens as he speaks. Rocky said. My grandfather once believed the sky was for those who dared. Today, I believe the same. This isn't just my story, it's Angela's story. It's my grandfather's story. And it's the story of every black pilot who was told, you can't, and still said, watch me. We don't just fly planes. We carry history. We carry hope. And we carry the promise that no legacy will ever be forgotten again. Applause echoes as Angela wipes away tears, smiling with pride. Some stories begin on the ground and end in the clouds. Others start decades ago and find their way home through those who dare to rise. Rocky and Angela's story is one of wings, not just of flight, but of courage, memory, and the unstoppable power of legacy. Please subscribe our channel for more inspiring stories.